Today's podcast is brought to you by a company who we have been using for years and takes up significant shelf space inside of our own kitchen. Biosteel Sports Nutrition.
It was a product created out of necessity 8 years ago and is trusted by athletes like Connor McDavid, Tyler Seguin, Brooke Henderson, Rosie MacLennan, and Andrew Wiggins.
They're really a leader in sports drinks for everyone from professional athletes to everyday champions.
Understand something, guys. Nothing worth ever having in this world comes easy.
Do what these champions doing if you're going to be a champion.
You control your outcome.
Who am I?
I'm a champion.
What up, champions, and welcome back to a brand new Biosteel Breakdown. As always, I'm your host, Adrian, with my co-host,
Sylvie.
And we're doing this one live from a fishing vessel, or so I've been told based on this hat.
I did not know where you're going.
It's cold. Toronto's getting cold, which is so terrible because I'm from Sault Ste. Marie and it's so much colder up there. But I did move. And you're from the East Coast, and it's just wet over there. Yeah. Like always damp, like bone chilling. So we're being soft since we moved. Anyway, thank you as always. If it's your first time joining the podcast, we do one of these every single Friday. And if you're a longtime listener, we appreciate your loyalty. It's amazing to have you be a part of this journey with us. And today we are talking about a mindset-based idea, I think, right? That's what I would classify it as, right? And it's something that we have known about for a long time and been trying to implement into our own personal lives more and more. And now I finally feel like I've made it somewhat of a regular practice. And I'm very proud of myself for that. And I know that you actually are headed to some classes for it, which is pretty cool. So, Sil, what are we talking about?
We are talking about meditation.
Meditation is a tough one in Western culture, especially in a city like Toronto where everyone is on the hustle and everyone feels like you have to do everything right now. The idea of chunking out 10, 20, 30, 60 minutes in your day to sit down there, to sit still and just be as kind of whooshu as that sounds, is a tough one for people. And it's something that I definitely struggled with for a long time. And so now that I've made it more of a crucial part of my life, I've noticed that it is so much more valuable. And Tim Ferris has a book, Tools of Titans, where he interviews, I think, almost 500 top performers. And there's a trend that 87 or 89% of them have some sort of meditative practice. So whether it is sitting down and meditating or whether it's walking and thinking, they have something that would be classified as a meditative practice. And so if 85+% of the people he interviewed have something in their life that matches meditation, I think it's something worthwhile.
Absolutely. So what is meditation?
Meditation is a form of, I suppose, self-reflection in a sense. It's the ability to sit still with your thoughts and watch them. So Headspace is a wonderful app. I think we will probably mention it again later in the podcast. And I think they do a great job of explaining it. The idea is that you're sitting on the side of a road watching traffic, and your thoughts are the traffic. They're the cars flying by. And so sometimes it's quiet and slow, and sometimes it's a 4-lane highway. And it's the ability to sit back and passively watch those thoughts without becoming engaged and emotionally invested, and provide some clarity or some perspective on all these different ideas. And so when I think about meditation, that's what I think about it as, or that's how I view it. And
there's several different ways to do it. Like even
Certainly.
just, walking in nature can be a meditative practice for people,
Yeah, breathing could be a meditation. Breathing could be a meditative practice. Like I know warrior's breath is one of those things where you're trying to hyperoxygenate your system, and that could be a shorter practice. You could be listening to a different kind of music, some sort of musical meditation. So looking at different beats that trigger different brain waves and get you into a different state. You could do something transcendental. There's so many different varieties, and I think it's important to understand that not one works, and you don't have to be stuck with one. Right? If you have 45 minutes, maybe this is a great option. If you have 2 minutes, maybe breathing's a better option. Right? And so I think that's really, really important.
So why meditate? And I think this is one thing that people struggle with, especially starting a new habit if they've never done it before, is how can you continue to do it when it's tough to see the immediate benefits from it, and maybe you're not fully sure what the benefits are. Everyone's talking about it, so maybe I should do it. But what are some of the benefits of meditating? Why should we do it?
Just increased awareness in your surroundings, I think is one big one. I think learning how to sit quietly is a huge skill to have, because we're so poor at it. So giving yourself distance from your thoughts and giving yourself an opportunity to process things at a different level is so important. If we're always emotionally tied up in whatever it is that we're working on, we can't make a clear and concise reaction. And then I think your reactions, the reactions you make to external sources, improves greatly. So I notice that if I've meditated in the morning and then I go out and I get in my car and I'm driving and somebody cuts me off, I am less likely to scream at my steering wheel, pound on it, flip them off, honk my horn, whatever. I'm more likely to roll with the punches, so to speak. And I notice that I get the same benefit out of exercise, but when they're paired together, it's perfect, right? So it's this amazing, I guess, attitude where you understand that that's not that consequential to your life, and you're able to react to those things in a manner that's appropriate rather than flying off the handle. And as a result, then you have better relationships with everyone in your life. So someone says something, you don't take offense to it right away. You understand that maybe it's not you, it's them, so to speak. And you have this ability to interact with people in a way that's beneficial. And so I think that those are the big reasons for me, or that's the big reason, your ability to react to external stimuli in a way that's appropriate without immediately flying into anger. Because as soon as you get mad, you've lost. Mm-hmm. Now I can't form rational thoughts. Now I can't clearly work through problems. Now I'm at your mercy because I can't interact in the exchange in a manner that's appropriate and or productive.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest benefits I've had from doing it is not attaching yourself to your thoughts as who you are. So that's been a big one, to look at your thoughts as thoughts, and not being like, for example, if you're anxious and you choose to meditate, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're always an anxious person. You're having feelings of anxiousness and thoughts of anxiousness. So it's that's been huge for me, to like just dissociating the thoughts from actually being.
Right. I like it. So I think that maybe just the last little takeaway we'll give for you guys is how you can get started on meditating. Mm-hmm. And so for a long time, like we said, we really struggled with it. And it's about creating almost a frictionless setting where it's really, really easy for you. So it becomes part of your routine. So like, wake up, brush your teeth, meditate, go about your day. Shower, go about your day, right?
Stacking the habits. We chatted about this in our Biosteel breakdowns with morning and evening routines.
Exactly. And so it becomes part of that process. So I would suggest downloading the app Headspace. That's been the most influential for myself personally, and
Calm is another one people
exactly.
really like.
And Calm is the other one. So those are the two big apps that I would suggest. I don't know about Calm. I haven't explored as much, but with Headspace, you have this amazing opportunity to do 10 free days. Mm-hmm. They're 5 to 10 minute meditations. You can pick what you want to do, and it's fun. It's competitive in a way that's not competitive. You know, you get a notification at 3 days, then you get a notification at 5 days, and then you get one at 10 days. Like, congratulations, you did 10 straight days.
Everybody loves positive feedback.
Right. And then you get a little endorphin release, and it flows into it. And so I would say that that's a great option. I know there's also places that offer classes.
They're popping up. It's like the new spin studio, basically. It's like the opposite of spin, but they're popping up all over Toronto. I know if you don't live in Toronto, maybe some of your yoga studios might offer these types of classes, but there's full-on meditation centers where if you're a person who actually needs to go and have it guided, I'm going to one this week, an hour and 15 minutes, which I will definitely give some feedback on my Instagram and maybe Championship Lifestyles as well. So there are other options too. If you really like, at home it's difficult, there's just too many distractions and you can't get in a regular routine, there's always resources out there.
And then I think the last thing would just be to not stress about the process too much. So if you miss a day, that's fine. Just go back on the next day. And don't worry about being perfect on it, because it's a task that perfection isn't something that exists on it. I think sometimes I meditate and it seems like the longest time in the world, and other times it seems like 1 minute, and I don't know, there's no common denominator between the 2 days or what happens. Sometimes I have a stressful day and then the meditation practice goes really, really well, and other times I had a relaxing day and the meditation practice is so scattered, and And so don't put pressure on yourself to do anything. Just enjoy the time.
I love it.
And that's our little rant on meditation and why you should start doing it. All right. Level up your mind. It's not just about the physical body. It's also about your emotional and mental state. So be mature enough to understand that. Right? Awesome. As always, head over to biosteel.com. Use the code word
Champ Lifestyle, capital C, capital L.
and you can grab 15% off your very next purchase. And so thank you to Biosteel as always for sponsoring these segments. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys being here, listening, learning, sharing. That's a wrap. Have a great week. See you next Friday, guys.